So I present now three interesting submissions that we received for the linked up competitions, and three submissions that we thought could be interesting for today for the topics of this workshop. I'm from Latanzio Learn in Italy, and we are partners in the linked up project. The first application that I present you now is called Globetown Open Data for Sustainable Development Education. It was proposed by people from University of Southampton and independent workers. And it's a web application that shows the intersections between three pillars of sustainable development: the environment, the economy, and the society. This web app supports understanding of the links and the fact that people are not islands, isolated islands, but we live in a connected global world. This application was submitted to the first of our competitions and arrived second. I'll leave the word to the official demo, just a small part.
Welcome to Globetown. Meet Rani. Rani works in a clothes factory in Dhaka, a city of 7 million people in Bangladesh. Dhaka lies just 4 meters above sea level, close to the confluence of two great rivers, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra, so unfortunately Dhaka has always been vulnerable to flooding. In 2004, Rani lost many of her possessions in a major flood. Climate change predictions include sea level rise, increase in rainfall, melting of glaciers, and more intense cyclones. Bangladesh is a less developed country with major challenges such as poor access to clean water and sanitation, limited investment in infrastructure, few health workers, and poor governance. Difficulties such as these mean Rani is very vulnerable to climate change and less able to adapt. However, there is also good news. Although many children still don't finish school, there have been major improvements, especially for girls like Rani. And the economy has been growing consistently for many years. All the same, opportunities can be limited, and over the years, many Bangladeshis have moved to other countries in search of greater opportunities. India, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait are some of the places where Bangladeshis have moved in recent years. One of the main destinations has been the UK. This is Lina. She was born in the UK, but her parents moved from Bangladesh. Lina lives in London. She designs clothes for a big department store. Although her clothes aren't made in the UK, they are produced back in Dhaka, where Rani lives and works. London and Dhaka have much more in common than the people and goods they exchange. They are the same size, and they both lie on major rivers, with many areas just a few meters above sea level. So they both face risk of flooding if, as predicted, sea level rise and more rain falls. However, as a wealthier country, the UK has more resources to draw on when adapting to climate change. For instance, Lina can rely on major engineering projects like the Thames Barrier to prevent her home being flooded. For the time being, some countries might have the resources they need to adapt effectively to changes in climate at home. However, most countries now depend heavily on distant places where adapting will be more challenging. Globetown is a way of viewing information about the countries of the world and exploring how they are connected together. In Globetown, we can learn about the countries we depend upon most and understand what connects us to them. With greater awareness, we are better placed to take more responsibility, mitigate our impacts, reduce risk at home and abroad, and rise to opportunities. After all, we all live in the same Globetown.
Next one is AGRIS, an international information system for the agricultural science and technology. This application was submitted by FAO Italy, and it is a network, a website, a search engine and a database with a large collection of agricultural data. So we are presenting this here because agriculture is most important for developing countries. And AGRIS is based on Agrovoc, that is one of the world's most comprehensive multilingual agricultural vocabulary. It has 40,000 concepts in over 20 languages, covering subject fields in agriculture, forestry and fishery, together with cross-cutting themes such as land use and food security. And it's online. It receives an average of 350,000 visits per month. This was submitted to the VD competition, is shortlisted for the final prize, and we'll discover at the end of this month when there will be the awarding of the prizes for the second competition. Okay, this has no sound. This presents the interface of the site. There was a search term on the upper left. The search started. You can see the list of the results on the left. You simply click to access the results together with a series of additional information and mashups on the right, such as advanced filters and maps. You can go back to the main query page. There are some additional filters, filter criteria on the right, and also the mashup of additional data, such as, for example, ones coming from Europeana that you can expand and see also other results. You can also move to a classical view that shows the results with a different style. For example, you have some star ratings on the left and also additional results on the right. If you wish to see it by yourself, you can access the website. That is the one behind the picture. Last tool that I'm going to present is the eDL, the Electronic Discharge Letter mobile application. This application was submitted by a mixed team from Open University of Netherlands, US, Ireland, Spain and Germany. It addresses discharge letters that are an important issue, especially nowadays that a lot of people are traveling and moving, so it can happen that someone gets ill while abroad. So the health care that starts abroad needs to be carried on also at home. So this application addresses the coherence of the medical treatment as well as the empowerment of the ill persons to better understand what's happening to them. Also, this application was submitted to the second of our competitions and is shortlisted for the final prize. So, if it works now, I have a couple of videos, one that illustrates the concept of the application and the other that should show the actual practice.
While in general, a clinical handover is the transfer of patient care from one caregiver to another, a discharge letter represents the particular case of a handover between hospitals and family doctors. The patient will normally receive a printed letter when he or she leaves the hospital. Therefore, this exchange usually involves different healthcare units and heterogeneous healthcare systems. making the accuracy of the handover a very important feature. That's why improperly conducted handovers can lead to medical errors like increased health care expenditure, delays in diagnosis, and even life-threatening adverse events. There are very few cases of developed countries where the national health system has achieved basic interoperability of the discharge letters at a regional level, but this is still the exception when considering a worldwide scale. In fact, the World Health Organization lists accurate handovers as one of its high 5 patient safety initiatives. The most common scenario is that there are technical and legal barriers that keep healthcare institutions isolated as unconnected silos. Some countries even have privacy legislation that prohibits the electronic transfer of discharge summaries because of the highly sensitive nature of the data contained therein.
And the second video shows how it should work in practice.
オリンピックの開催は
Tokyo. John, a London reporter, is diagnosed during the Olympics with cellulitis in his right leg. The doctor in Tokyo prescribes his treatment, amoxicillin, 250 milligrams 3 times a day. The doctor speaks very little English, so John is not able to fully understand the diagnosis and the treatment recommendations.
Based on the name and other details of the diagnosed disease and the prescribed medication, a list of related terms and codes from clinical terminologies is offered to the doctors in his language by the application. For example, in the current scenario, possible codes for mapping are retrieved from the following 2 sources. One is the Japanese version of the Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities, or MEDRA, which was developed by the International Conference on Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Registration of Pharmaceuticals for Human Use. The other is the Medical Subject Headings, or MESH, which is maintained by the US National Library of Medicine. By selecting a code from these sources, the doctor is reducing the ambiguity of the letter and better enabling it for semantic interoperability. The eDL app exchanges the letter between devices by means of the Near-Field Communication or NFC technology. That brings the following advantage for the handover procedure. It doesn't require Wi-Fi connection or pairing of the devices, in contrast, for example, with Bluetooth. The maximum distance of 4 centimeters for the transaction guarantees its privacy. The receiving device automatically starts the eDL app when there is an incoming discharge letter, thus speeding up the delivery of the letter. It should be noted that both email and USB drives would present privacy and security flaws if used for the purpose of exchanging discharge letters.
Okay, and this was the last video to grasp how it should work in practice. Any questions?
Any questions about those 3 tools? Unfortunately, that people can come along and present, but we can share the videos afterwards, so people can watch those in more detail.
In any case, you find the links behind the demo slide.
Danielle?
This third one, have you implemented in any country or city?
I don't know, because it's a kind of a proposal. I'm not sure about the actual status of development of this yet.
We can find out. Like,
It's great.
yeah, it's interesting tool. Okay. Thank you.